Hi everyone, this is Leanne Thomas and welcome to another Facebook live event with me and developing your intuition at home. This series was created so that all of you at home could continue to look at, grow, and expand, working with your own intuition to help your life expand, grow, your intuitive abilities expand and grow. And so I'm having a lot of fun connecting with all of you. So I hope last week's exercise, I just want to recap really quick, that you had the exercise of going and feeling the energy of places, or feeling the energy and discerning whether or not it felt light or heavy, or you might be using the words positive or negative with all that you were feeling. If you missed last week, that's okay, because each week can stand on their own. I know that some of you are also even working with your own development group and sharing what's happening, what your feelings are. So if you want to post anything here in our chat room while we're Facebook Live, feel free to put in there the experiences that you were having last week with feeling into the energy of places. You can see right behind me that beautiful orchid. It's yellow and it's got some purples in it. It's gorgeous. It was a gift given to me this past week by some beautiful clients, and I'm just so appreciative. And the reason I'm even mentioning this is because anytime I get flowers or flowers come to me, it means that there's some kind of a blessing or some things coming into my life that, so I always get excited when people just randomly bring me flowers. So I want to mention again the Developing Your Intuition Level 1 for March 3rd and 4th. I think there are 4 seats left still available for that 2-day developmental course. So if you're interested, there's still time to get involved in that, with a few seats left for the Developing Level 1. So if you have questions about that, let me know. I did receive, I finally have an actual camera that I can do video from, and I'm learning how to use it. And as soon as I get savvy enough to figure out how to actually use this fancy camera that I've gotten, I will be making a video on the soulmates class. It's a year-long journey, the soulmates class. It's for anyone and everyone that I'm only going to be taking on 8 students because it's a year-long journey. But we'll be working collectively as a group to change our thinking, to change our energy, to shift, to be able to connect into bringing in a soulmate, so a life partner. And if some people want marriage or things like that, that would be included in the process. And it's a year-long journey. Once a month, we would be meeting on Google Plus, which is video. All classes would be mandatory, but the good news about using Google Plus, you do it from your home, you do it from your phone, wherever you're at. As long as you have internet connection, you can be in the class wherever you're at. So you don't have to stress or worry if you're not feeling good or you're traveling somewhere. You can still really make it to class. And so there'll be more information coming on that soon. And also, this is an announcement for my first group reading of the year in January. And so if you haven't participated in a small group reading with me, everyone gets a message or a connection to a loved one in the spirit world in a small group. I only have 8 people in a small group reading, and the first one of 2018 will be Sunday, January 21st, and that will be from 1 to 3 o'clock. And hi everybody, as you're all coming into the room, I'm just excited to see you back here for the second week in the series on how to develop your intuition at home. And people are writing, and hello to all of you. And I love that someone writes here, Debbie writes, I was very aware of the peacefulness of campus before the kids arrive, and how it changes, or the energy changes that once they come, which is interesting because sometimes we can feel the hustle and bustle of energy even when no one's there. But it must also mean that there's a lot of positive energy, probably from all the teachers on your campus, Debbie, that are infusing positive energy onto the campus and things. So I love the idea that it's, as you went about last week's activity, that you were quite aware of the difference between when the kids weren't there and the kids were there. So great job on paying attention to that. I want to make sure I haven't missed anything in my notes. So if you're interested in the group reading, I wouldn't hesitate too long to jump on. I'm planning on announcing it in a few other places, but you guys have the first heads up. It's on my website. You just go to angelichope.com and you register for the group reading there, and it'll be the 21st of January right here in Santa Clara. Okay, so continue to chime in and share your experiences from last week and the different places you went. Did anybody go to the mall and experience the energy there? Maybe somebody went to a doctor's appointment or the dentist and wants to share the feelings of those places that they experienced. So I'd like to hear what different places felt like, because grocery store, Starbucks, wherever you were at, like what was going on with those places and what you were feeling. I was pleasantly surprised at the positivity I felt everywhere around me when I was closer to home or in my area. When I traveled outside of it in different places felt very different. So just kind of letting you know that. So continue there. Today I want to finish up talking about some energy, and last week we did talk about clearing our energy or letting things go. So once you're feeling the energy of places or at the end of your day, how to let go. And we talked about clearing our energy last week. But this week I'm going to cover a few more things, and I'm just looking at my notes here because, you know, the teacher in me always wants to have her notes. Grounding and then protection. And grounding is a term used of connecting your energy through the intentions you set into the earth. Grounding our energy has a lot of bonuses and pluses. It helps us to be more focused and in the moment. Everybody's in the past few years has been using the term living in the now or living in the moment, and it's really hard to be present and focused and living in the moment when you're not grounded. When you're ungrounded, you often lose things. You can't find your keys or your sunglasses or your glasses or, you know, a favorite object, and you're trying to get out the door, and you're out the door, and then you remember, oh, I need to get my grocery list. I left it on the counter. Or like for me this past week, I left a coupon at home that I wanted to take to the store with me. And I was like, oh, I need to reground. And so regrounding helps us to stay focused. It also helps us to be mindful of our energy while we're going through stressful situations. And with the holiday season upon us, Thanksgiving already just happened. I can't believe it's Sunday, November 26th. Like, where did November go? But that idea that grounding helps us to become or feel more stable even through stressful situations is going to be extremely helpful for everyone as you encounter more holiday parties or holiday shopping or just the rush of getting things done or taken care of each day in your job, because there's extra things that you know that you need to get to as far as, like, say, holiday shopping or decorating or things like that are concerned. So grounding happens through an intention that we set. And some people can visualize it or see it in their mind, and you don't have to. You can say words out loud, and I'll even say, I ground myself into the heart of Mother Earth now. And I visualize, you don't have to, but you can visualize then at that point your energy going from your heart center space, where, you know, in your heart area, a bright light that's at the center of your essence and who you are, traveling down through the center of your body and straight down into the center of the earth. Some people like to visualize it as roots growing out from the bottom of your feet and connecting down into the center of earth. Other ways that are also helpful for some people with grounding are walking outside barefoot, taking a hike out in nature, getting into the ocean, or getting into another form or body of water can help ground someone's energy. And we're all a little different. Not one thing can just solve or be the answer when we're speaking about energy or intuitive abilities, or it's not one size fits all. We all have to find our own way into all of that. So I want to challenge you to have fun and to look at the different ways that makes you feel like your energy's grounded. I know when I take Callie out, my fur baby, and if you've ever been to my house that you've met her, like she's our baby, mine and Troy, it's our baby. And so when I take her out for walks, then it's also a way of grounding me. It's bringing me back into center. I'm having to be focused in the moment. My mind isn't racing. My anxieties about whatever's going on in my life, or my worries or my concerns, tend to fade away because I'm focused on what's going on in that exact moment. And that grounding happens when I'm in the moment with her and taking her out for a little walk, doing her little potty business. And what isn't more grounding or humbling than picking up dog poop? So there you go. So that's one way you can do it. So find your ways that are, if any of you want to share in the chat room some ways that you know that you already do that help ground you. It might be folding laundry or doing the dishes, or other kinds of things may ground you. I know those things don't ground me, but for some people they do. So I want you to challenge yourself this week. Every morning when you get up, the first thing you do before you head into the bathroom is ground your energy. Find a way to set the intention or visualize or do both to ground your energy. And then throughout the day, you may find that you need to reground. You need to do something to reground your energy because maybe something upsetting happened or a worry creeps into your mind. So then you can think about ways to reground throughout your day, because grounding happens and we anchor it in more strongly over time. So you have to give it some time as well. And then Anne writes here that she's been trying to focus on keeping herself calm through the chaos of other people's energy. It's true. It's one of the hardest things to do, especially if it's someone's energy that we're in our family or we're connected to in a personal way at where we work. We tend to connect into more to other people's energy that we feel more connected to. But certainly even watching the news and things like that, Anne, can throw our energy off and pull us out of our peacefulness. And that the idea of bubbling her energy, she says also, that would be a way of helping to protect her energy or keep the other people in. I'm guessing, Anne, too, that was helpful for you on a lot of levels as you were going about feeling the energy during the week. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that even. I want to talk about protection really quick, because even Anne brought it up about protecting her energy from other people or bubbling herself. And we're not protecting ourselves from anything evil or dark like demons or satanic kinds of things or stuff like that. It just really isn't necessary. Especially when we're focused on going about our life and living our life, Christmas decorating, holiday decorating, shopping, more food we often buy for holiday parties or things. When we protect ourselves, we're really protecting ourselves from other people's energy and not from anything out there evil trying to get at us. Other people's energy can be quite disturbing to our own, but we don't have to let us take us down. So there are ways that we talked about last week of protecting our energy, but we only talked about it quickly. So we can bubble our energy, and by bubbling, I mean making a thick wall around ourselves. A light, fluffy, bubbly thing, like, when you think of the Wizard of Oz and Glinda, the good witch, comes in that happy little bubble. We need something a little more thick, I'm guessing. And so just imagining a thick wall, a beautiful plexiglass wall, a plastic glass wall all the way around you and underneath your feet is a great way to help protect your energy. And you do it again through the power of intention, We use our mind, and if you can visualize things, then visualize that bubble around you. I usually think of it as like when I was a kid, we had hamsters, and one of the hamsters we had one of those little balls that you put them in and then they could run in it. And it was made of plexiglass, and it had perforated holes, so obviously our hamster could breathe. But the idea is that bubble is around you, and love, just like we had the air holes in the bubble for our hamster, you have love can come and go through your bubble. It's not love and energizing positive energies can come through. We're not letting negativity of any kind come through, and that's where the power of intention comes in, and protecting our energies from others. But it is a practice. You have to get used to it. You have to get some distance and observation even on your life of the people that can upturn your energy, that can set it off or get through or pull your walls down. You know, there's always people in our lives that have more of an ability to pull our wall down and get more at us. So you do want to be mindful, and the more you practice at it, that's why we're doing this how-to couple of weeks. And then if you've ever taken my beginning class, then you know about protecting your energy and why we do it. And in the level 1, we go even to another level of building those walls. But we only do that for positivity. And we're letting positivity come and go, and we're keeping all of the negativity out. And I want to talk about protection because some people speak about building mirrors around themselves. So I want to address this from my personal point of view on it. And they talk about putting mirrors around yourself or on the outside of your bubble or your wall to face mirrors outward. So any negativity that comes at you goes back to wherever it came from. And I understand the idea of that. I understand the premise of putting a mirror so that whoever is sending you negativity, whether they're intending to or not, it can be coming at us, right? So the mirror reflects it back and gives it back to where it came. But I don't know that I like that concept or that idea. I want to be someone where if there's any negativity or anything like that, I am stopping it. I don't even feel like it has to go back to the sender. Because most of the time people are really good and decent people. They're a little lost, or maybe they're going through some kind of a crisis in their life and they've got a lot of pain, and I may not understand it. I may not know what's going on with them or what they're going through, and their behaviors may be hurtful to me, or there's unkindness, or maybe they're rude in line, or they're driving rude, or all of those things that can be sending us negative energy. And I want to be mindful and loving and caring despite the negativity that other people are putting out. So I don't like the idea of mirrors. I always say if I know that someone's behaving negatively and their energy isn't getting through to me, I want it transmuted by God and or Mother Earth, usually both. And so instead of feeding into the negativity and letting it cycle back, then let's stop it. Let's just put an end to it. That's just my little 2 cents on that kind of thing as well. So there's protection and why we do it and how you can do it. You also need to find your own way into protection. With my intermediate and my advanced students, we go to also a whole nother layer of protection, or needing it, because then we're reading for other people and we're expanding our energy, so we do need another level. But if you're not giving other people readings or connecting to their energy the ways that we've already worked on, and say if you've been in the beginning level class, or you're going to take the level 1 class, or you already maybe practice some protection around yourself, then you know you have enough protection to get you through life in the world. I want to talk about the clairs now. And so part of your homework or the exercises for this week will be finding ways to ground your energy and protect your energy. And it takes me less than 10 seconds to do those things now. But at first, it took me a lot longer. I needed to spend some time making it a little more solid, or focusing a little bit more on the energy of that. Clair is a word that means clear. And you've probably heard of clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, claircognizance. And those are the 4 main clairs that we usually speak of when we're talking about intuitive or psychic abilities. Today I want to discuss clairsentience and I want to discuss claircognizance. So those two. And there will be one activity that you can do that will be fun for during the week here, and that you can do also with your group, if you're working with a group of friends who are also working on building your intuitive abilities. Let me check in here. Can you ground yourself with certain crystals or essential oils? You can use them to support the grounding, but they won't ground you within and of themselves. They don't have the power to override either your free will or your power of intention. So working with the intention. So if I'm holding certain crystals, I can set the intention that they're going to help me ground my energy or be a little more grounded, that kind of thing. But I always feel like what we can do for ourselves, we don't need to put on an object, or I don't want to give over my power to a ritual or routine or an object. Now, having said that, the ritual or routine of grounding and protecting, if it becomes that, or if you see it that way, that's fine. But for me, it's a way of life. It's not really a ritual or a routine, and it's just an intention that I set, and also helps me to stay grounded. I mean, obviously it does. It clear and focused is what I'm trying to say. And if I feel like I'm not being clear or focused, like I'm forgetting things, like I was talking about forgetting my coupon for the store, that's a reminder to me immediately that I need to reground myself. And I can use different means to do it. It doesn't have to be the same way for me every time either. Like sometimes I'm taking Callie out for a walk, and sometimes I'm using the power of visualization. So you use what works for you. And if crystals and that works, that's fantastic. I have nothing negative to say about using them, unless I can't function unless I have my crystal. Or unless I get up every morning and use my essential oils, I'm not okay. If it becomes that, then that becomes a problem or issue. So I hope that makes sense, Holly. Like, I love crystals. I have them all over my house. If you've been here, you've seen them on all over. Clairsentience. Some people confuse this with being empathic, but they're kind of connected and similar. Clair meaning clear, sentience meaning feeling. Clear feeling, clairsentience. It relates to emotions and even physical sensations that people can feel. I don't know, this happens to me, but because I ground myself and I let energy go and I know how to clear my energy and protect it, it doesn't happen to me as much. But I'll even be talking to someone on the phone, say a family member or a friend, and I will feel a headache. Or I'll get off the phone with them and I'll feel like I have a headache for a few minutes and then it goes. Or I'll feel other body sensations, stomach aches, knee pain with certain people, just different body sensations for me. But what I notice is that once I pay attention to it, I know it's not mine. So the question I always ask myself, am I feeling my own physical sensations here? Stomach ache, headache, knee pain, back pain, whatever it is. Or does this belong to someone else? And then I go about whatever I need to do with my day, and then I see how it goes. If it's not my energy, it will dissipate over time. And when I first became aware of this, it took a lot longer for it to dissipate. It took a lot longer for me to let go of the physical sensations or pains that I was having. And that might be something you experience too. It is a form of being empathic, but when we become aware of it and we're working with it to our benefit, whether to release it or to use it to help us understand ourselves or other people, then it becomes clairsentience, meaning I'm working with this. I'm working with the idea of my intuitive abilities and the clear feelings, whether it's emotions or physical sensations in your body. When I'm aware of it, it's clairsentience. And when I'm empathic, it means I'm going around feeling other people's emotions or feelings or things without more of a clear awareness or even what to do about it. It's going to be the same thing with clairsentience as last week of letting it go. I become aware of it and I release it. Whether it helps to go wash your hands or reground or to say a prayer or set an intention to let it go. And sometimes I'll just say, I am letting this go now. Like if I finish a reading or I'm connecting for someone, or say I'm out at the grocery store and I just start to feel some gunk or everyone else's feelings or emotions that were there, I just say I surrender all of this to God and I leave it to be transmuted into the earth and to God. So you find your way to let it go. And sometimes I'm just like, let it go. Like I don't need this. And I'll just shake it off as an act of helping me set my intention. And so clairsentience comes with two sides of it. One would be the emotion side. I may connect to and feel other people's emotions, which I know was part of what you were doing last week, but now that you're aware of it, you know how to work with it. People will say words to you sometimes, and you will know what they're saying isn't true, but you can't prove it, right? Like we can't prove it. We just know. And that's also claircognizance. So claircognizance and clairsentience can also work together in some level. So that's why I've lumped the two of them together. When I separate them out for my students, and it's not that you need to have all of this down pat or to be an expert in the clairsentience and claircognizance now, but if you think about clairsentience being emotions and physical sensations, and claircognizance as knowing, then they kind of all seem to flow and fit together, but they're all slightly different. So if you have questions about that, make sure you ask me. People that are very claircognizant tend to be thinkers, like you're thinking a lot, whether it's worry or anxiety, or whether it's problem solving, taking care of tasks, getting things done, organizing your day. Though people who are claircognizant tend to be a lot in their head or thinkers. Very logical people can be quite claircognizant, and they might not even know they're doing it. It can be a side of us too when we're claircognizant of pulling through divine guidance or divine inspiration. Artists tend to be very claircognizant, and then they may use clairvoyance or other clairs to help bring things together, but they'll say they were divinely guided or they were inspired to create a piece of music or a piece of art. And it may be you even problem solving on a situation, whether it's in your family or on the job, it just comes to you. You just know. Or you just know when something's going on, whether someone's telling you one thing, you just feel and or know otherwise. And that's why often clairsentience and claircognizance work so well together, because you may feel like they're not telling me the truth or this isn't really the truth. And then you may just have a knowing of what that truth is. You see the difference between sentience and cognizance. So it isn't that people are always just trying to lie to you, but sometimes we know that our loved ones or coworkers they're wanting to stay, they don't want to just unload what's going on with them. So you're like, hey, how are you? How was your weekend? And they're like, fine, everything's okay. But they don't want to tell you that they just got some bad news or they're in a financial crisis or a relationship issue is going on. So it's not so much that people are trying to deceive you, but I think we've all felt that probably, especially around people we care about, that they're not exactly telling us the truth. We're feeling or we're knowing into what they're saying is true or not. And it's not that people are always wanting to just lie to us or not tell us the truth. So I want to put that out there. The homework here around claircognizance is to practice your knowing. I want you to practice it. So before you look at your phone and your phone's ringing or you hear a text come through, I want you to sense your claircognizance. I want you to sense into who it could be. Who is that? A friend or a coworker, sense into or feel into a knowing, or just know, like, what color are they going to be wearing today? Are they wearing a dress or are they wearing pants? What elevator is going to open? That's coming to you. I want you to pull it into your everyday life, the just before you know or have the the awareness of the answer. I want you to take a moment to see if you can get the answer without looking, like say without looking at your phone, who texted you or who's calling you, without seeing the arrow or the doors pop open on the elevator, which one's going to open, what somebody's wearing to work, what line you should get into at the grocery store because it might move faster. Like, feel into those things or sense into those. Use your clairs here and claircognizance to step into like what's going to move faster. There's little things, getting the answer on something or knowing where something is that's lost that you've been looking for. Stop, quiet your mind, and see if you can get the answer, and then follow that instinct. Follow that along. Hopefully that makes sense. Ask me some questions about your homework. So homework would be grounding and protecting your energy. And it would also be playing with your claircognizance, playing with your knowing. Also with someone's feelings. You may just know that someone is maybe not telling the truth. And like I said earlier, it's not about knowing whether or not they lied. But say, you know what, I really feel like that you may be going through something here, and I just want you to know I'm here for you, or whatever, because we may want to give people that or give them that opportunity when they're saying they're fine or not, everything was good, they had a great weekend, but you're not sensing that would be the case. And you don't have to say anything. You can just trust it and then see where it leads you. We don't always have to have the immediate validation, but it is nice when you're working on your clairs to go for some things that you can get some immediate feedback on, like on the phone if it's ringing. There'll be lots of ways I know you guys are going to discover to use your claircognizance in ways during the week that you just trusted your instincts. Maybe it's taking a different route to work, and you just know, and then you avoided an accident or you avoided bad traffic, and you usually take that route, but you decided today to take a different route. I want you to trust it. Debbie brings up something interesting about using a pendulum. We're actually going to do that, not next week, but the week after with this class. And so next week I'm going to preload you all right now that I am going to be using cards in next week's class. And you can get yourself some angel cards or any kind of oracle cards that suit your fancy. You can get them off of Amazon, Overstock.com. You can go into a Barnes & Noble if there's one still around you and find some. And there's you just pick what you're drawn to. There's no right or wrong answer or better cards than others. In my belief, I think we all gravitate towards what we really want and love. Of course, I love anything angel and angel cards. I wish mine were ready. They will be in the new year. I'm hoping as soon as March, but it might not be until April that my cards are ready. And hopefully you've all gone to my Angelic Hope Cards page on Facebook. If you haven't, just search for Angelic Hope Cards and please like my page. I would love it for you to like that page, and more will be coming. So when more cards come up, I'm going to be sharing there, and I'm also going to be giving little card readings based on the cards there on that page too. So more exciting stuff to come on my Angelic Hope Cards page. But next week we'll be using cards, and you don't have to have any. I'm going to be showing how to use them, and I'm going to be giving some messages, pulling some cards and giving some of you who are here chatting with me on Facebook Live some messages next week, and just kind of giving it using the cards as a tool can also help us open up our intuition or begin to trust it. And when we follow through on our guidance that we're receiving, we always benefit. When you trust your knowing, your claircognizance, you're always better off. You end up taking a better route to work, or you end up having less traffic. Or if you're stuck in traffic, it could be because something else was going to be happening that it kept you from a situation. So when we're learning to trust it, and there are tools that we can use to use that can help us trust, and cards are one of them, which we'll use next week. If you don't have any cards and you do want a few suggestions, just post on this post or post on my YouTube channel page down there, and I'll give some suggestions for cards that I like, since mine aren't ready yet, but once they are, I'm going to be suggesting those for obvious reasons. Anyway, I'm being silly. But we'll be using cards next week, so have them ready if you want. It'll be a very simple little tutorial on how to use cards to help you boost up your intuition. So if you are working with a group, you might want to make sure the group watches a video here and watch it through YouTube if you can. And then get everybody on the same page. You certainly all don't need to use the same cards. But this week, do it with your group or your friends and challenge each other on different situations. You can even, if you're working with a group, you can say, I'm thinking of a shape. And then what shape am I thinking of? So I'm going to do that right now with y'all. This is part of trusting your claircognizance. And so I'm thinking of a shape right now. And what shape would I be thinking of? Just post here in the chat room. What shape do you think that I am focusing on? I'm going to focus on it. And it's really solid here in my mind. So if you want to post there, then post what you think or what shape I'm thinking of. So hopefully some of you will do that. I want to address any questions that you have, but I'm good for this week. We went over claircognizance. We went over Clairsentience. We talked about grounding and protecting. I do have that group reading coming up on for only 8 people. Everybody gets a message, and it was heart. You guys are freaking me out. If you picked an oval or a circle, it's so close to the shape of a heart, and so it's just something to work on. But I was thinking of a heart. That's great. So the heart shape is what I was thinking of. And don't worry if you didn't get that, because some of you might be picking up on some things that are around you. And when we learn, we use it more and we focus in, we're able to hone that skill a little bit more. But, yeah, it was a heart. Ask me some other questions. Otherwise, I feel good, and we're set up for next week as well for all of you. Claircognizance is what you're working on. You're going to be working on it even with your friends. And we went over clairsentience, clearing and grounding. Oh, I was going to talk about my group reading. It'll be held in Santa Clara, and it's only for 8 people, and it's January 21st. It's a Sunday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Everybody gets a message, so if you want in on that, it's my first one, and you guys are the first to get the knowledge or the information about that group reading. So, and it's for loved ones. I don't have my next angel party on my list just yet, but I may be announcing that next week. So stay tuned. And next week we are going to be talking about cards. We are going to be talking about clairvoyance and clairaudience, which are 2 very different things. So we'll be adding that in. So if nothing else, I'm going to give it a minute just in case someone has questions to do that. And please share with your friends and family my YouTube channel, anyone you think might be interested in, because if I'm able to grow that channel and I have more subscribers, I can reach more people. YouTube puts you out there more to get found if you do and you have more subscribers. And I'm very much growing it very word of mouth kind of thing. So I'm really counting on everyone to help me out by going on YouTube and doing that. Have you heard it's more difficult for those starting out to sense for people like your mom, to get past your mommy senses? I'm not sure I understand, Emily. Have you heard it's more difficult for those starting out to sense for people you know? Actually, if you trust your gut, the people you sense and feel into what they're thinking, feeling, easier. It's a great place to jump start. You just have to feel safe doing it. And sometimes we don't trust ourselves, or we think, oh, I already know too much about them, or I already know this, and so we don't trust it. But it's a great place to jumpstart and get trusting. So we have to let go of that idea that that we can't trust our instincts or our gut. And that's the hardest hurdle for anyone that I'm working with or my students, and even myself at times, to get past, is the idea that I need to be right all the time. Number one, no one is. No one's God. No reader, whether you want to call them a psychic or a medium or anything, is going to be 100% right all the time, because that would be unnatural. You know, it's just not the way that it works. And I know that that bothers people, but that's the truth. And so you have to not be hard on yourself at the same time. Okay, guys, well, thank you. I hope you had a wonderful and happy Thanksgiving. I hope that your season continues to shine, and that you put the energy of love and connection to others before anything else. I'm going to do a video here soon on getting through the stress of the holidays and tips and tools that you can do from a spiritual and practical standpoint, in my opinion. Also, that video on soulmates. So stay tuned for those as well. And then Emily also writes, okay, that's it. Too much prior knowledge was my concern. Yeah, well, you know, and just, it's okay. Like, you know what you know. You know you're not telling, you're not lying to yourself, or you have to know and be solid with who you are too. So, and it's a hard place to start from, Emily, but you certainly can do it. And because these are safe people in your life, your children, your husband, your family members, all of that, it's a great place to put some practice into that with who you know. It's a safe place to jumpstart. All right, guys. So until next week, please post. Please let me know what's going on. Send me a message if you want about like what's happening with the energy, or building, you know, your wall around you of protection, or grounding your energy, or your claircognizance. I love to hear the feedback from it. So don't be a stranger here on Facebook with me. So until next week, blessings to all of you and all of my love. Take care and be well. Bye-bye.